The Right Wing Podcast, and I'm your host, Jarrod Wright. And we got a big episode, episode 15. We got a great guest on, Ethan Levins. I know many of y'all actually follow him on Instagram and such. We're going to get him pulled up right now and pull him in here.
What up, what up, what up?
How's it going? Yeah, I know a lot of people, man. It was funny whenever we first started talking. I was looking and a ton of people that followed me were also following you and stuff, and I'd already followed you. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, we got to get this guy on the show. First guest, you got to bring you on.
Appreciate it. I mean, I looked through some mutual followings, and there were a lot. It was like thousands. So I even had somebody in my live chat say, like, Ethan and Jarrod. And I was like, well, hey, I guess we have the collab right now on a Thursday night. So I want to welcome all of my guys as well. Shout out to all you guys for popping into this kind of impromptu stream on my channel, and then everyone on Jarrod's. Hello, I'm Ethan, and I'm going to put together a good little show for you guys. All the cool topics, we've got it sorted out. I think we're touching on, obviously, Israel, stuff like that. I'll try to push the Russia-Ukraine topic a little bit. That's one of my fan favorites and my personal favorites. But whatever you want to talk about, we'll roll, and kind of agree on a lot of stuff. So
yeah, we're definitely we definitely hit on all of them for the most part. We tend to have the same views on things, same views on Russia. I gotta say, when it comes to Russia and Ukraine, you got to be like number one guy on social media is by reporting on stuff. I'm looking, I'm like, how does he even have this? He has like battleground info right now. I'm like, where did you even get this from? So
I'm in some interesting Telegram channels. I'll just put it that way. I'm probably in some Telegram channels that probably shouldn't be in the United States, but you got to get in there somehow.
Hey, that's good enough. I mean, you're getting the info. That's what matters, man. But yeah, I mean, I do want to kind of dive into your story and talk about. I mean, how did you get into politics? Kind of like, what was your start and what got you here, really?
Yeah, well, I started in like February. I started in February, and then it started posting on Instagram. I actually been posting on TikTok for a very long time. So I did TikTok, and then it went to Instagram, and then it went to YouTube. I got 50,000 followers on Instagram. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Actually, originally, I did weather reports. So it was me doing the worst weather reports imaginable. And then it shifted from weather reports to something like Israel, Gaza came up, and I'm just butchering. I'm butchering my audio real quick. I gotta.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
That's all me. Just absolute. Let me lower the audio of that because I saw people in my stream saying there's no audio, so I have to. Let me cut that down. I got to get my train of thought just off the bat, but
yeah, you're good.
As I was saying before, I interrupted myself talking in echoes, but I was posting a lot of like weather reports in like January, and then I woke up one day and had like 30,000 followers on Instagram, and I was like, you know what? Let's just like do something that matters. We'll do politics. So we get to February, whenever the Zelensky stuff. Zelensky came into the White House, they blew up, and I kind of really dove into that one. Like, I used to be kind of middle of the road with this, Ukraine stuff, and it ended up kind of blowing. Like, I might be a little pro-Russia. Like, I am pro-Russia. That's how it works. And then the Israel stuff came around. I was pro-Israel last November. So, like a year ago today, I was pro-Israel. And then I started doing debates and didn't really do good because I started to realize I don't know a lot about this topic. I started researching it. And then all of a sudden, I was like, man, I think I'm on the wrong side of this. So everything swapped over. Post about Palestine, post about Lebanon, anything in the Middle East. I post a lot about Europe. I post on TikTok. I have 3 TikTok accounts. So post everywhere. TikTok's brutal right now. Post on Instagram, YouTube, Rumble. The links are everywhere. And pretty much now it's just whatever's trending on Twitter news-wise. You wake up, you watch the news, and I stay informed from Twitter or X. Everything comes out of that. You follow the right people. If you set up your feed correctly with the algorithm, then, like me, you're going to be able to know everything before it happens. You're going to be able to know the details and sometimes too many details. I'll post a video that's just too detailed, and people are just like, what are you talking about? So
yeah.
I blabbled a little bit, but.
No, you're good, dude. I mean, no, I definitely agree. I mean, whenever I first started posting, mine was similar. It's just me doing stupid stuff for the most part. I was making goofy videos on TikTok or whatever, and got comfortable with it. And I was like, wait a second, I've got a little bit of a following, and I kind of want to post about something that actually matters. And your views on Israel, I was similar in a lot of ways there too. I mean, I was up until January or February of this year pretty pro-Israel, and my views pretty quickly started to change. And here I am. Apparently, within a year, we're both pretty big anti-Israel
Man, look, I mean,
commentators. I mean,
yeah, it's there's a lot of us now though. Like whenever I started my journey with the Israel stuff, I would say I started really posting on it heavy in like, March. And at the time it was still kind of a 50-50 sway on the internet. Now it's hard to find anybody that's pro-Israel now. The people that are pro-Israel, they just get ran off the internet now, which is good. Like we're done with that stuff. I think it's just a low IQ argument. I don't really understand how these people can even fathom that ideology anymore, because it got to the point where like that whole pro-Israel argument is essentially built on defending what they're doing. It's no longer justifying saying this is why we have to do it, or excuse me, it's no longer saying we're not doing this. They're defending it. They're saying we're not doing those things. They're saying we're not starving people. We're not killing civilians. And it's turned from defending it to justifying it. They're saying, well, Hamas is under the hospitals. Well, we have to do that. We have to get through the civilians, blame that. And it got to a point to where even European governments started turning on Israel. I mean, the U.S. is just not. That's just a whole other topic. But it's the internet swaying in a good way. They're trying to crack down. Instagram, weirdly, is allowing a lot of it. I mean, I hear people say that like Meta's tough on the Israel stuff, and I've never had a single post taken down. For me, I don't know about you, but I've had it pretty good with Instagram. But
no, mine's been straightforward. I mean, my TikTok got banned like the second Larry Ellison bought it. I mean, it was like instantly, like I was number one on the watch list. But yeah, Instagram's been, I mean, straightforward. I mean, they haven't had anything. I've actually had my account suspended on X, and I haven't had any issue on Instagram, which really blew my mind. And so I had to go back on X and file a appeal, and they restored it relatively quickly. But it was random. I'm thinking, okay, I haven't been on X for long, and I'm thinking, okay, X is supposed to be the free speech platform. And TikTok before the last 3, 4, 5 months really was as well. It felt like, and Instagram and Facebook were the censored ones, is what I always assumed. And here I am with my Instagram, and I can, honestly say pretty much anything I want to. It hasn't gotten.
Yeah, Instagram's wide open. It's the wild, wild west. Everybody knows how Instagram Reels are. It's just you get like a Hitler edit every other scroll at this point. It's absurd. They're going to crack down eventually, but Larry Ellison, he bought TikTok. He is the biggest single donor to the IDF, so you can already tell what kind of person he is. He's also Ellison, like figure that out. He's one of those guys. TikTok's compromised. YouTube's been compromised. Funny enough, Rumble is also owned by a Jewish man, but it's not as bad. It's not really bad at all. So they let Rumble run, and then X is really having a big tumble, and there's really no Jewish or Israeli problems on X. It's more so whatever the algorithm pushes out. It's a lot more pro-Israel stuff. It's less like anti-Jewish stuff they don't want to push. It's more just absolute Israeli bot propaganda, whether that is a bunch of Indian accounts, whether that is this one guy like Vivid Prowess, he's on X, and it's just like the same 5 posts over and over again, like, do you stand with IDF? They'll put like some like hot blonde IDF soldier, and it's just like, come on, guys. Like, they're running out of ideas, and it's pretty funny at this point, but
I mean, it's anything. And I'm curious your take on this, because this is my personal belief on it. When it comes to the Israel situation, I think we would both agree, and most people would, that the ultimate goal is greater Israel. I mean, that's what they want to achieve. And I think that the last 6 months has come as a surprise to everyone behind that motive on how the script is really flipped. Or like you said, it's hard to find someone that is pro-Israel, especially in the under 40 crowd. I mean, a lot of older people are more pro-Israel just by nature, I guess. But I'm wondering if a lot of what we're seeing on the censoring and on the random posts by the IDF and things like that is a lot of these Israeli people being in scramble mode, essentially. What's like, oh, crap, if we don't get this done, it's not going to get done. Like, we have to accomplish this now.
Yeah, I mean, they're just figuring out that the public knows what they're doing. I mean, they occupy a part of Syria. They occupy a part of Lebanon. They're occupying Palestine. I mean, they bombed Qatar the other week. What they're doing is openly now. Netanyahu said that he is attached to Greater Israel. He said that about a month ago or now at this point. They're publicly open with what they want. Zionists are open with what they want. They want to expand Israel. They want to take over and annex Palestine completely. They're going to want to annex Lebanon, Syria. That's why they spark a civil war all around them. You have a few stable countries like Jordan and Egypt. They're just bought out by the U.S. at this point. But you have a few of these resistance countries, such as where it was Syria. You have Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and Iran just as a whole. You have a few opponents left of Israel left. And at the end of the day, they're not able to push a greater Israel until they are able to get the public opinion. They're not going to be able to attack Iran, attack Lebanon, attack Syria anymore if the public's not on their side, because they're not going to get the funding. Because, I mean, we are a democracy. We vote the people in who we want. And if the Israeli topic, like in 2016, the border wall, abortion, those were the biggest topics, and gun control. People vote on the biggest topic. And it is undoubtedly right now Israel. That's the biggest topic. It's Israel, AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, all of that stuff is on everyone's minds, and people are excited to vote in 2028. This is no more of this dumb stuff about the border, abortion, gun control, stuff that's not really going to change. It's about what's actually happening. It's a genocide going on. They're bombing our allies in Qatar. They're bombing Lebanon, Syria. You have civil wars breaking out in the Middle East and in Africa. I mean, it is actively happening. And with the blow up of sites like X and Rumble, people are now able to see this from a different lens than like Fox News telling us that some Islamists are dying in Syria. You know, you go on X and you're like, well, these are children that are being bombed and killed. It becomes less religious and more of, why are we supporting an evil country? And elections are going to be fun in a few years. I think they have maximum 15, 20 years in the U.S. before the sentiment changes and we start voting in people that are really anti-Israel, because somebody's going to come along on the Republican or Democrat side and they're going to say, if I just speak out against Israel, they're probably going to vote me in. And that's all it's going to take, is a president who puts the foot down, who stops it. And it is possible. I know they have a grip on the U.S., but they had a grip on everybody 10, 20 years ago. I mean, everybody was in Iraq. Everybody was in Libya. Everyone was in Afghanistan. Everyone was in Syria. Heck, France was in Syria. What's that about? And now Europe's flipping on them. So I'm rambling on a little bit. I'll let you chime in what you think I was going with there. But I just think the public opinion, I just don't think they have time left, and they're going to try to accelerate this. I mean, they just had a war with Iran. That's history.
I mean, what worries me is, the more I look at this, the two things I see, or this ceasefire, if we want to call it that, are, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a ceasefire. They're wanting the entire Palestinian side to give up arms so they can just come right back in and take over with no defense, really. And I see a war with Iran being pretty imminent. It seems like it's going to happen relatively soon. And really, it seems worldwide. I mean, it seems like we're on the verge of war with Russia. I mean, Trump said that he'll go in, and you posted this today, talking about he'll go in and fight Hamas if he has to. He's going to take our troops in there. And you got the whole thing with Venezuela going on. Right now, bettors are saying, on Kalshi or whatever, there's like over a 50% chance that we actually attack Venezuela before, I think, October 30th is the date that they have set on there. And so it's like everywhere we look, it seems like a war is about to break out. It seems like tensions are high. I think a lot of it starts with the whole Israel thing, with the Israel-Palestine thing. I mean, it's certainly worrisome. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the midterms coming up. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the presidential election. I mean, I think that Nick said it best last night. I don't know if you got to watch that stream, but he said that what we've really had is Trump will do some things that are good, but like a very small dose of good. And it's just what he described it as is barking up the wrong tree. All you're doing is pissing off the left where they think he's Hitler. In our reality, it's maybe 10% of what we really want to see done. And so it's like, either actually get something done or don't do it at all and have everybody hating on you. You can't have it both ways at this point. And so I'm curious to see where the pendulum swings coming up. I mean, the seemingly obvious nominee for the Republican Party is going to be J.D. Vance, who I'm not the biggest fan of. I think he's an Israel guy all the way. It seems like his opponent is going to be Gavin Newsom, who this past week really seems like an Israel guy. And so it's like, at what point does it change to be something different coming in? I mean, are we going to see Thomas Massey make a run at it, or what are we going to see?
I mean, they'd never let Massey, but I mean, Newsom's based. He's got a white fam. I'm just joking. But I can't say that. But we'll go back to what we were saying earlier about the Venezuela stuff, the Iran stuff, the Russia stuff. I mean, it's a clear split in the world, and I don't like the side we're on. We have the side with NATO, including us. It's us and NATO, and Taiwan and Israel. That's pretty much it. It's us, NATO, Taiwan, and Israel. That's all we've got. On the other side, you're going to have massive economies and massive militaries like Russia, like China. India's abandoned us. Places like India. Africa's lost us. The entire Middle East has lost us. South America's lost us. Brazil's lost us. Even Mexico's lost us.
Yeah.
We have found ourselves just on the wrong side of this. Like, you can debate good, bad, evil, whatever. But at the end of the day, we're not going to win this. I doubt we'll see a World War III scenario, because if World War III scenario happens, I mean, we're just, don't want to be the bringer of bad news, but we're all going to die. We're not going to make that. World War III happens. Earth, as we know it, is going to be altered forever, and there will be no Rumble to make a video on. It'll be done. But if we sit at this from like an economic warfare, a power struggle, the U.S., we're Americans. We love America. The U.S. is doomed. It's doomed. It's down a path that is being... It's dragging along NATO. It's dragging along Israel. Israel is kicking and fighting, and we're dragging Israel through the door of the new world. Israel doesn't want to enter this world. Israel's still trying to bomb its neighbors to annex a greater Israel. They still don't understand diplomacy. They feel like they're above everyone, which, I mean, obviously, but they don't understand diplomacy. They backstab Trump. They bomb Qatar, ally. They're bombing Iran during negotiations. And it's a clear split, like a Cold War split, but instead of the Soviet Union at the head of it, it's instead of the U.S. and the Soviets, two equal attackers, we have the U.S. basically with nobody. I mean, NATO's weak, Israel's weak, and to our own detriment, we're staying on this side and walking down a path of war with Russia, who's very strong, world's largest country, largest nuclear arsenal, China, basically the world's biggest economy at this point, the biggest trading partner of everybody, and then India, the world's most populated country and the third biggest economy. If it's a trade war, economic war, technology war, we're just not going to win. We don't have the oil. We don't have the minerals. We don't have the resources. And these boomers in charge are stuck in such a old school mentality of the Western Europeans are our friends, Israel's our greatest ally, and we have to be the beacon of democracy. We're at a point to where, I mean, it's kind of a hot take. I mean, we can get down a whole road of political ideologies, but I just think that democratic liberalism, democratic liberalism has failed. It's losing. It doesn't work. Europe collapsed. It's not working. Militaries are weak. Economies are frail. Culture's gone. Migrants have rushed. Europe is dead.
I agree.
In the countries in, the Middle East, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll go for 30 more seconds. The countries in the Middle East, these are all monarchies. Saudi Arabia is strong and powerful. It's a monarchy. Qatar is strong and powerful. It's a monarchy. Okay, the UAE is strong and powerful. Monarchy. They have kings. They have princes and stuff. And I'm not advocating for monarchy, but at the same time, we can't live in this world of voting people in here and there 4 years, and they're just complaining about gun rights and abortion. Now, I think we're too far behind, and I kind of dove really deep into it right there, but I think it's a ideological power struggle that we're heading down, and we have vetted ourselves with the wrong people. I mean, we voted Trump. I mean, we thought we were going to get some cool Gestapo type of Trump. We were going to round up the illegals, guns for everyone, screw it, bring it on. Let's have a cool America again. And then turns out we have some weird, compromised, honestly liberal Trump. Democrats call him fascist. They call him Hitler, and I'm dude, believe me, he's nowhere near that stuff. And we're the ones who voted for him. But
yeah, I mean, it's definitely sad. And when we see what Trump is, I mean, and I'm sure you would say the same thing is, man, 2016 Trump, I mean, that's like a fever dream now. It's man, that's what I miss, It's I wish we had that Trump right now. Instead, we get Trump, I mean, seemingly unbuckling his pants, bending over backwards. And for Netanyahu in Israel, I mean, he's trying to get the president of Israel to give Bibi a pardon for war crimes. And I'm what is that about? Why is this guy the guy that's come to America more than anybody? And I'm with you when it comes to some of these monarchies. It seems like the success comes when there's one strong leader at the top. And there's so many people have spoke about it when you look at, even if you want to go down the biblical route, I mean, most of your governments that were, I don't want to say God ordained, but essentially even in the Bible, were a monarchy type of some sort. And when it comes to republics, when it comes to a democracy, what you see is, and this is some great points from a book I'm reading, but you have 635 people making decisions currently. First off,
Mhm.
whenever they make a decision, they give an opinion, they stand up there and they vote on something. They never have to take responsibility for that. They go hide behind their party. They hide behind, well, I needed to get this done and then pay this favor off. I needed to get whatever. They never take responsibility because there's so many of them. But number two, at any given time, maybe 10% of them are actually knowledgeable about the subject at hand. And that's different 10% for each subject, obviously. So why are they all wanting to give their opinion on it? And so that's why I would say that the best form of government to get the most done is going to be a single leader at the top, like we see with the monarchy, who makes all of the decisions and takes all the responsibility for the decisions. It's a whole lot easier to overthrow one person for making bad decisions than 635 people nationwide. But below that, you have a group of advisors that advise them, and you have very knowledgeable people in each one that can maybe argue both sides of the whatever decision you're going to make to try to give you the most information that you can, and then you make the decision. And that seems to work, and it seems to be the longest lasting thing that works. When you look at nations, there are great empires like the Roman Empire, but at the peak of it, it was just that. It was an empire with Caesar. Um, yeah, I think that the democracy is set up to fail because whenever you have a democracy, you start trying to please everybody, like you said. And when democratic liberalism sets in, when the left wing sets in, and then you start trying to please, okay, well, it slowly goes down a bad hill. Okay, well, first it's like, well, it's okay to be gay, and then, well, it's okay to be transgender now. It's like, oh, well, it's okay to do it. It just keeps on shifting, and we keep on allowing more and more and more, and then you see the fall of it. You see the corruption come in. And if you set strong boundaries where you don't just slowly vote away everything you've worked for, I think you see more success, like in these Saudi Arabian countries, in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East and things like that. And part of it may just be stricter laws in general. I mean, a lot of these nations are Islamic nations, and they just tend to have very strict standards that they want to stick to. I think we've lost that in a lot of ways as America. We kind of don't want to follow these strict lines. We want to cross them, and we see the downfall of that. I think is what we see now.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think there's like a split between the right wing of like I'm trying to word this correctly. If kind of like a Naziist right wing. There's in the U.S. Like I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I see the reels everybody likes, everybody reposts this stuff. It's cool like that, but it's like there's this rising tide of like cool anti-Semitism type of thing. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
these like young Nazis rising. You have these like young hardcore MAGAs. You have these young far right, alt right stuff. The America First people, the Alex Jones people. You have a very strong, very hardcore right wing that is looking everything internationally. The left wing in America, the liberals of America, are still focused on dumb stuff like abortion. They're still focused on dumb stuff like gays and trans rights. It's like we're just totally beyond that. Like there's the meme that like Trump plays 5D chess, but it's like the right wing is playing 10D chess. Like we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
Israel, we're talking about Ukraine, we're talking about Greater Israel, we're talking about Epstein, we're talking about things that matter in the scheme of the world. We're talking about Europe. We care about the Reform Party in the UK. What are they doing in the polls? And this
Mm-hmm.
left wing in America is just focused on dumb stuff like gays, like
Mm-hmm.
Trump sending ICE in. It's like, really? Like, do we really care about that? No. And the problem with the Republican Party itself is the Democratic Party and the left wing are still stuck in their bubble. The right wing in America is in its own world. It knows
Mm-hmm.
everything. We're pushing everything. We're online. We're the alt right. We're the far right. We're infiltrating everything. We're doing a plan. And the Republican Party is just stuck in the mud. They're not understanding this. They sound like liberals. They really do sound like
Mm-hmm.
liberals. The Republicans are so center the more you think about it. The Democrats are so center the more you think about it. And it's like a horseshoe theory to where you have the far left people who are like very pro Palestine. They're like communists. And you pull around the far right people, you meet them in the middle and you get like the far right Nazis who hate Israel and then the far left communists who hate Israel. And I come to like kind of agree with the left wing on a lot of stuff. Like I tend to agree a lot more with them than I do with some like moderate right wing guy these days, to where they're just like, well, Trump's working on the border. Trump's working on this. We got tariffs in place. And I'm like, really? Like, what kind of like Fox News nonsense is this? Like, we're talking about real stuff. We're talking about Israel. We're talking about Putin. We're talking about migrants in Europe. Like, these guys are just so far gone. We know democracy just sucks. It doesn't work. We don't even want to vote our guys in. The liberals are fired up about Newsom, and we get like J.D. Vance. Bought out by Palantir. That's a whole nother leaf that is not turned yet on the liberal side. And it sucks. Like, I feel like if we can get the far left and the far right to kind of agree on stuff, then it'll figure it out, because it's like you have Nazis on one side, communists on the other, and it's like, dude, if we can just figure this out, maybe. I went way far off with this, though. But it's a term of like MAGA communism that I think we could mesh them together and just have something just absolutely crazy, like no gays, no trannies, but at the same time, no Israel. We're going to focus on us. We're going to figure it out. Election's not going to happen, because if someone's running the country and they do bad, like every other dictator, you just overthrow them and you kill them. Like,
exactly.
Like somebody like Xi and Putin, like they're not. I mean, yeah, they have full power, but at the same time, it's not unchecked power. If Russia falls, Putin's going to die. If China falls, they're going to come and kill Xi Jinping. It's different in the U.S. to where if Trump fails, he gets voted out in 4 years, and then he goes and lives on $1 billion pension on the beach sipping margaritas. There's less of an incentive to actually care, in my opinion, but it's a lot. What do you think about all that?
I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're at the point where, Trump knows when he went into office in 2016, well, 2017, I guess, in January, but he knew at max he has 8 years. In the grand scheme of things, you can fix some small things in 8 years, but you cannot fix the big things, in my opinion, in 8 years. And I think these people know that, and they say, how much money can I make? I mean, honestly, how much money can I make in this 8 years? What can I do to set myself up? And they still want to do some good things. And I think at least at first, to some extent, Trump had a good heart about it. But, I had a buddy of mine who brought up a great example. And he said, look at a big business. He said, you put a CEO up top. And if the business is doing good, you don't get rid of the CEO. You want your leader to stay there. But if the business is doing bad, okay, yeah, they're going to start pushing that CEO out. And then somebody comes in and buys them, and they establish a new CEO. And so on and so forth. What you see your turnover at in a business is the middle management section of it. And you see turnover with people, they want to go somewhere else, or we get somebody else in with a fresh opinion, and they're kind of advising. But the guy in charge stays in charge. I mean, like you said, look at Putin. I mean, in all reality, every decision he makes is a life or death decision, because he knows he's going to ride or die with this nation. This is his nation. He's proud of that. People frown upon the idea of nationalism. I'm like, this is a great thing. You're supposed to be proud of your nation and want to ride or die with it. And in all reality, when it comes to America, I think people don't have that mentality. I mean, Trump had the assassination attempt, obviously, but there's not as much of a threat of imminent death for making a bad decision. And so you kind of wing things in a lot of ways. You kind of hit that middle ground in a lot of ways, and just sort of get through your 8 years, do whatever you want to. Your name goes down in history. I mean, obviously you have better presidents than others, and they're potentially the most powerful person on earth. But a change where it is a true life or death situation, you're in there until you screw up too bad or you die one. I mean, that changes how you make decisions. And I think it also sets yourself up, because if I do well, I'll be here in 30 years. And so I want to set myself up to make decisions that are going to affect this nation in 30 years. And in a lot of ways, I think that Trump has attempted that. I mean, I do like the tariffs in some ways, but what sucks about the tariffs is I think that it's going to take 10, 15, 20, 30 years before they ever actually see benefit if they stay in place. I don't think we're going to see that, because I think whoever comes in 2028 or by 2032 is going to push them out. It's going to be voted out. They're going to be probably ruled unconstitutional or some bullcrap, and then they're going to tax us harder. And so we're never going to actually see the fruit of it. In some ways, that's why I don't support it, because we're all getting hit hard right now on tariffs. I mean, the prices of everything seem to have just jumped. I mean, working in the metal industry myself, you see tariffs on metal. And so now all of our prices are 40, 50, 60, 70% higher just to get the metal in. And, we're eating that right now. And the promise of it getting better is there, but I just don't think it's going to happen short term. It's a long term thing. And when it comes to presidents, most of the time they don't look long term; they're looking short term, and what boosts their popularity right then in that second. A lot of the time.
Yeah, well, I pretty much agree with it. I pretty much agree with everything you said there. The tariffs are definitely the whole point of the tariff is to not just to force trade deals, not just to force leverage, or even to force like he threatens India and Pakistan with a tariff if they don't end their war. The whole point of a tariff is to equal the playing field, is to level the playing field.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a trade deal with the EU that still had tariffs on each other. So it's like I feel like instead of having 100% solved solution, instead of no tariffs on each other, we just work on things where it evens itself out. Maybe a little tariff here and there to where the trade deficit can come together. But instead of that, it's just like tweet something out. I'm going to threaten China with an 80% tariff. And it's like, just put it on at this point. It's like at this point, just threatening it. It tanks the market. It tanks crypto. Everyone loses their money. And then the next day, he's like, well, actually, I'm not. If he would have put them on day one, signed them in, even just doubled them a little bit, then maybe it could have changed the deficit. Maybe our trade deficit wouldn't have been so bad to where we lose so much money. And I still don't buy this notion that we're bringing in billions of dollars. He says, we're bringing in billions of dollars on tariffs. The revenue's crazy. We had like 20 billion in 1 week. And I'm just like, where's that going? Our streets still suck. There's crime everywhere. You can't ride on a road without bumps flying around. There's homelessness. There's trash everywhere. And I just don't understand where the money goes, who it's going to. We get disaster. I mean, hurricanes strike, the East Coast where we both live a lot. And it takes weeks, if months, to even try to clean this stuff up. They're all a disaster. The police are underpaid. Simple things like teachers who are federal employees or state employees, so they're a government employee at that point. They're not paid enough. And it's just, I don't know where this is supposed to go with these people. But, we agree on that, I would say. But I'm going to flip it around on you a little bit. And I think there's something we might fundamentally agree on, but I think logically we might disagree on this. So I want to hear your take on Russia, Ukraine. Who do you think's the good guy, bad guy? I mean, that's elementary, but I want to hear your take on that because I'm very staunchly in one direction, and I want to hear this from because you're more pro-American than I am in a sense. My news is more internationally, so I don't really push like this pro-America, America first agenda. I don't really push it as much. I know you push it a lot. All your stuff is very much American related. What helps America, what benefits America. A lot of my stuff is focused differently. I got a very international audience, so I kind of don't touch on it enough from an America perspective. So I want to hear from a big time America perspective, what's best for America, what you got with Russia, Ukraine.
So when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, it's fun because for the last, century, Russia, USSR, whatever you want to call it, has been considered the bad guy. That's what everybody's pushed. The Cold War happens. They're the bad guy. They're the bad guy. There is a certain level of distrust, I feel like, between us and Russia. But honestly, I'm probably closer to your side than you think there. I mean, I look at things in a sense of, for one, as an America First guy, how much money have we poured into Ukraine for nothing? I mean, for no reason. It's not our battle. I think that's just a waste of our taxpayer dollars, and especially considering I think there's a report that over half of it has just ended up in the hands of gangs in Ukraine. It's like not even going to the military, and so I don't support that. And I look at things from a perspective too of I am a very America first person, and if I was in a position like Putin is in Russia, and I'm very proud to be the leader of my nation, and the next world superpower comes and parks its army and its tanks on my next door neighbor's doorstep and it just starts pointing their guns at me, I'm probably going to attack. I'm probably going to get pissed off about that. I don't think that's safe for them, especially when they violate different agreements over and over and move closer and closer, NATO in general, which is, more or less powered by America. More or less NATO is America, it feels like. I see exactly where Putin's coming from in a lot of ways. And my take on the whole thing is, if I had to pick somebody to support in it, I would pick Russia. But my take on it is, why are we involved? It's like, this isn't our battle. I don't want to pick a war with Russia. A war with Russia does not turn into good things because, like you said earlier, it essentially becomes a war with BRICS, who is going to outpower us. I mean, a bigger army. They seem to have more spending. They have more nuclear weapons. I don't like our odds there, and I really don't want to get into a nuclear war. And so I don't understand why we want to pick these battles with Russia or stand with Ukraine. And our stance with Ukraine really seems to be more powered by, I mean, Jewish influence and Zionist influence coming from Israel, where a lot of their family, a lot of their ancestors are from Ukraine. And so it's like I don't understand what our point in being there was. We claim it's this whole, from what I can tell, it's like this whole neocon thing. We're going to limit communism. We don't want dictators. But how is it affecting us? It's like if we wouldn't just spent the last 20 years pissing off Russia, maybe we wouldn't have to worry about them coming to war with us. Maybe if we just stayed in our lane, we could have had a better trade with them and been friends with them, really. And it's I don't really understand why we've done what we've done over there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes down to NATO. I mean, the aggressor of this conflict, the aggressor of the war was NATO. You can say who started it. Yeah, Russia invaded Ukraine. That's something that I get called a Russian propagandist. I'm paid by Russia, apparently. I'm still waiting for that check to come in. Like, where's that at? You know, like I'm on a MacBook right now, guys.
Yeah,
like, I really want that check, believe me. But I look at this from a perspective of who pushed who to start this war. Ukraine was a launch pad in history for any invasion against Russia. World War I, all the battles are fought in Poland, or modern-day Poland in World War I. The Germans invaded Russia through Poland. Austria-Hungary invaded Russia through Ukraine. World War II, Germany invades through Poland. They invade through Ukraine. Russia knows that the flattest part of Europe is Ukraine. There's mountains everywhere else. Poland is fortified. Also, Poland's in NATO now. That's why they use Belarus as a buffer. Ukraine is the only way that NATO or any other Western European country could, or America, could ever invade Russia. So Russia's known this. You know, there's this argument, well, Finland's in NATO now. Why didn't Russia attack Finland? Well, Finland's in the Arctic. You know, like, they're in the Arctic, dummy. What are they going to do? Put tanks across the snow? It doesn't work like that. We're going to, you know, it just doesn't work like that. Under the Baltics, yeah, let's put 1 million troops in Lithuania and just tell Russia it's okay. That's not how this works. So Russia's known forever that Ukraine is the final red line. Don't put them in NATO, and if they're not in NATO, we don't care. You know, where's this pro-Ukraine crowd from 1990? What is it? I don't know. The mid 1990s all the way to 2014. Ukraine was a pro-Russia country. Ukraine was neutral. They leaned with Russia economically. Ukraine never aided Russia militarily. In Georgia, in 2008, Ukraine wasn't there. You know where Ukraine was in 2003? They were in Iraq with America and NATO. Where was Ukraine? They were in Afghanistan with America. Ukraine was in Libya. They provided munitions. Ukraine militarily has always been a Western country. Economically, they've been pro-Russia, but this is a war. This is a military situation. So from that perspective, I always ask people this. I say, well, Ukraine was pro-West, pro-NATO militarily ever since they became a country like 20, 25-ish years ago. Why didn't Russia attack that entire time? Why didn't Russia attack Ukraine before Poland was even in NATO? Why'd they wait? Literally, Russia waited until the worst time to attack Ukraine. This is the worst time they could have ever decided to attack Ukraine. It's the worst time. They should have done it in 2000, 2005, 10, 15. In 2014, Ukraine had a civil war, a revolution. Why didn't Russia just walk in the country whenever the military wasn't even standing at that point? Russia doesn't want Ukraine. They could have done it in 2014 during the revolution. There wasn't a military for Ukraine. That's why Russia walked into Crimea and didn't fire a single shot. The problem comes in 2022, in January, a month before the invasion starts. Kamala Harris is at a NATO conference where she says the door is open for Ukraine to join NATO. Literally something that NATO countries have made a point to never even tweet about. You don't even laugh at that. You don't even make a joke about Ukraine and NATO. Like, you don't make a joke about Georgia in NATO or even Belarus in NATO, or Belarus would never, but they've always had a red line to where, okay, Russia is a big country. They're massive. They don't like us. We don't like them. As long as Ukraine is a buffer in the middle, such as Belarus is a buffer in the middle, Belarus was the pro-Russia buffer. Ukraine was the pro-Western buffer. It worked perfectly. And then we get to 2015, coincidentally, a year after this revolution occurs, where a seemingly out of nowhere, after an election, by the way, a democratic election, just a few years later, they decide, the population goes from we want to be neutral to That's it. We want to join NATO and the EU. Just
Mhm.
in a span of 3 years, the entire population allegedly has a major uprising to where they want to fight Russia now. And I say they want to fight Russia because 6 months or 8 months later, whenever the year hits 2015, Ukraine launches a civil war against its own people in the Donbass, where the war is coincidentally yet again happening because it's a bunch of Russians there. They speak Russian, they go to the Russian Orthodox Church, they read it, they sing it, they write it, and there's a lot of laws that restrict it. And this is this idea that Putin wants all of Ukraine. He wants to attack it, he wants to take it all, then go for the rest of Europe. And I'm like, well, then why hasn't he opened a front in Kyiv? Why hasn't he bombed Kyiv harder? Why is Kyiv standing? Why hasn't he dropped more paratroopers over literally any other city in Ukraine? They don't use paratroopers. They don't use a lot of ballistic missiles. They don't haven't even thought about using a nuke. They don't even use their navy. You know how many planes or airplanes that Russia has lost in Ukraine? People are mind blown at this. I've just brain farted the number as I was going to say it, but the number of aircraft they have lost in Ukraine is less than Iraq lost in the Iraqi war. And that was, 3 weeks? Russia has barely lost any of their air force because they don't use it. They barely lost their navy because their navy is not off the coast shelling Ukraine. Put a Russian destroyer off the coast of Ukraine, and you could evacuate that entire southern border literally in 10 minutes. But they're not doing so. All they're doing is attacking the Donbass, which is simply the Russian part of Ukraine. They hold Crimea, the Russian part of Ukraine. And look, now they want 2 other regions, Kherson and Zaporizhia. They're not really that Russian, but that's more of a strategic move to have a land bridge to Crimea. So Crimea connects with all of Russia. Like they're like, well, Zaporizhia and Kherson, they're ethnically Ukrainian. I'm like, well, at this point, dummy, it just becomes a geopolitical affair. Ukraine lost the battles for those 2 regions. They're not going to get them back. I mean, if we want to sit there and give them $500 billion for some weird reason, like, go ahead. But, well, that's my long rundown of that.
Yeah. I mean, no, I mean, you nailed it. I mean, I did a longer form episode on Russia a while back, and I'm still not nearly as knowledgeable about the subject as you are. You have a lot more sources there, but it always seemed to me, I believe that the naval base, the warm water port or whatever it is in Crimea, if I'm not mistaken. And so it makes sense that, okay, well, this Russian base that's in Ukraine, they want access to, and they want it to be easily there. Like you said, the land bridge to get there. And not to mention, Ukraine is its own sovereign nation at this point. But for something like 94% of the time that Russia, USSR, whatever you call it, that area has existed, Ukraine has been a part of it. It's not like this is some ongoing long thing where Ukraine's been its own nation. This has just been since the USSR was absolved into Russia, into the other little Eastern European states that are there. And so it makes sense. It's like, okay, all these people are Russian. They identify with Russia. They speak Russian. Like you said, they go to the churches.
They have Soviet passports. Yeah, they have Soviet birth certificates. They have Soviet passports. Actually, when I was in Lebanon, I ran into this guy. He was Lebanese Russian, born in Crimea during the Soviet time. And I was talking to him about it. I was like, well, Crimea is very Russian. I was talking to him, and I was like, so is there what's their Ukrainian sediment there? Because he was there during these revolutions and stuff like 10, 15 years ago. And he was like, well, I mean, we all speak Russian. There's not a single thing in Ukrainian. We have Russian flags in Crimea, Ukraine at the time. Russian passports, Russian birth certificates, or Soviet birth certificates. So it's a lot of these people. That's why there's no uprisings behind the lines. This is the first ever war with no partisan warfare. There's no Ukrainian civilian gangs behind the lines fighting the Russians. No uprisings happening in the cities because they're fine with it. Ukrainian or Russian, at the end of the day, if you're Ukrainian or Russian, it's the same thing. Let's just put it aside. Volodymyr is just it's Ukrainian for Vladimir. I mean, Vladimir is Russian for Volodymyr. It's literally, you can't even make that up. It's the same exact things going on. It's 2 Vladimirs fighting over former Soviet lands, and they're trying to both claim it as theirs. I'm just like, just let it happen.
That was my thing with the peace treaty, with the ceasefires. I'm like, why? We go this, and Zelensky was adamant that he was not going to lose any land. And I'm like, dude, that land doesn't even want to be a part of your nation. I'm like, why do you care? If anything, his constituents in the next election into wherever, because I'm assuming they're a a republic, if I'm not mistaken. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, they banned elections though. There's no
oh well,
elections.
there you
There's
go. Yeah.
until the war is over, there's not an election. So at that point, it's like, well, how are you going to elect somebody to end the war? You're going to do this. It's going to be a while. And
Mhm.
Zelensky's young, so he's probably got a good another 30, 40 years in him. He's
True.
ready.
True. I mean, and he's just rocking and rolling, and maybe that's why he doesn't want to give it up. I mean, I never understood it. I mean, that's like, if we look out, if the entirety of New Mexico decided they hated America, didn't want to be a part of America, and fully associated themselves with Mexico, it's like, okay, why keep them here? What's the point in not
Yeah.
saying, okay, if you want to be part of Mexico, be a part of Mexico. We don't care. And especially if there's a war raging and you're losing citizens on both sides, it's like you're just losing lives at this point for no reason. And I guess our situation may be a little bit different than this one. Russia is definitely the more powerful nation over Ukraine, and like you mentioned, they haven't even really like lifted a finger. It feels like it's like he's just sort of playing around, like he's standing around, like watching and playing, toy figurines with it. It's like he hasn't even really attempted. And Russia is winning the war. It wouldn't take much for him just to go in there and wipe the whole thing out, finish it off, and be done with it. And he hasn't. And it's because his goal isn't not to take over all of Ukraine. I don't think Putin really cares that much. It's he wants this particular stretch of land back. And I thought we were at the point where this treaty was going to come and the war was going to end. In the past, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. And Russia pretty much had primary control over it. It seemed like everybody was ready to negotiate peace, and then out of nowhere, Zelensky comes out with Trump, and he's like, "We're not sacrificing any land. We're not doing that." And it's like, at whose expense is that? It's not really his expense; it's his citizens' expense, and it's our taxpayer expense. Well, how can he sit back and say that at that point? And I guess maybe he's like, "Well, I don't lose anything." It's like we'll just keep pushing forward. It made no sense to me.
It's pretty rough to watch. Ukraine's population was 50 million in 2019, and now the male population is at about 14, 13 million. So you went from, around 30 million males in your country to now you've shattered it down to 14, 15 million. And all of it's because they're leaving. It isn't because they're dying on the battlefield. I don't buy these figures of like 2 million deaths on both sides. Like, yeah, there's a lot of deaths happening, but that figure is insane. I would say we're nearing 1 million for both, which still puts Russia, a country with 130 million people. It's like they got a lot left in the tank. But if you're Ukraine with about 15 million males, and that's total, that's children and elderly, because they're all leaving. I mean, I've been to Europe. Ukrainians are everywhere. I'll go to Belgium, I'll go to the Netherlands, Paris, or France. And Ukrainians are everywhere. And it's all the men. The women just go to the U.S. The men of Ukraine are everywhere in Europe. They don't want to fight that. Why does a guy from Western Ukraine want to go fight over Russian land in the Donbass? It's like you're liberating people. Because remember, there was a civil war in Ukraine from 2015 up till the war started. Ukraine was already fighting the Donbass. Ukraine was already fighting Russian people, citizens, or there were Ukrainian citizens that were ethnic Russians in the Donbass. So now you're sending people who were already losing. You're sending the Ukrainian military to fight those ethnic Russians, and now the entire Russian military, who's pretty much just dug in at this point. It's a trench warfare. It's a slow-moving line. And they're like, Russia's losing the war because the line doesn't move. And I was like, yeah, well, back in 2022, whenever Ukraine was prepared, by the way, for this to happen, Russia swarmed and had, 40% of the country. They encircled the capital. They had Kharkiv. They had Sumy. They had all the big cities. They had Kherson. They had bigger cities. And now they backed off on it. Putin set a defensive line, and they take a little bit of land every day, just to let the troops roll. I mean, you have a bunch of crazed up Russians with guns. I mean, they're not going to just sit back and hold a post. I mean, they're going to go out and freaking get wicked and fight with some vodka, apparently. But
I heard they're riding on bears. Is that true? Have your sources confirmed that?
About what?
They're riding on bears as they go into each town?
Man, I mean, at this point, I see a bunch of Ukrainian people on Twitter where they said the Russians are now using horses and motorcycles. And I'm like, yeah, dummy, because a tank gets blown up by a drone. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? Are we going to put Russians and Ukraine on both sides? I'm like, we're going to do Russians and Ukrainians. Let's slap them in tanks and have a little $10 drone blow it up. Like, yeah, they're riding horses. The Russians are probably riding bears at this point. I mean, I'd be terrified. If I was a Ukrainian at this point and you're fighting, the Russians aren't even using their military. They just had a parade with Belarus with like 200,000 people for a military exercise. Like, They have people.
Yeah.
A lot of these are like private military groups in Russia. It's prisoners, it's convicts, it's very bad people, honestly, that like if they die, Russia kind of looks at it and they're like, oh, a murderer just died on the front lines, whatever,
Yeah.
congrats. Their crime rate is plummeted in Russia, by the way,
Mhm.
because the people they're sending to fight this war are inmates, they're prisoners. And the EU likes to use that where Russia's going to prisons to get people. And I'm like, yeah, isn't that like the point? Isn't that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
good that you're not even using your military? So now Ukrainians are like, you got this 18-year-old Ukrainian that was shoved in a van is now going to the front lines in the Donbass to fight some like 4-time serial killer from Siberia that's just armed to the teeth
Yeah.
with Soviet era equipment.
And they've been
It's
waiting for
not
that. It
doing
feels like if you get a prisoner out there, it's like, hey, we're going to give you a gun, whatever weapon you want, and you can just go to town, and we're not going
Yeah.
to take any responsibility for it because this is a private military contracting group and not the Russian
Exactly.
military. And America does the same thing to some extent with their own contractors. It's like we're going to do this so that we can get what we want done without really
Mhm.
having any responsibility
Yeah,
for it.
Blackwater. Yeah, that was like Blackwater in Iraq, and that's a American private military group. It's simple. You just employ like 5,000 people that have no affiliation with the military. You arm them to the teeth, and you go and you say, technically, war crimes don't exist for you, and they get the job done. And in
Mhm.
Russia, or in Ukraine, yeah, it's like, yeah, there's being war crimes being committed by both sides, but there's some pretty bad ones from Russia.
Mhm.
They're not in the military. It's
Mhm.
called a loophole. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if you have a problem with it, ask America about Iraq, ask America about Afghanistan, ask Israel and Gaza. It's a double standard of the Russians are these barbarians, and then they send $5 billion to Israel. It's like, well, dude, the Russians are at least like killing military men. They're killing people that are going to fight a war. Like,
Mhm.
you have two militaries fighting. Like, somebody's going to die. And then in Israel, it's just like children at this point. It's like, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't think a little Gazan walking down the street is a legitimate Hamas military target, but you just
And that
got to
means
work around that.
they might be dressed up. You never know. It's just that's this seems to be their mindset.
I know at
It,
this point, like Hamas is under the hospital. I'm like, cool. Like you just can't hit them. Like, I'm sorry, they
Yeah.
figured it out, dude. I'm like,
yeah.
if Hamas is under a children's hospital, you
It's
got to
just-
figure it out.
you gotta
Send them
figure
in the rat
something
tunnel
else.
like we did in Vietnam.
Exactly. There was people that saying, I seen a great example of somebody talking about this on a show or podcast. I forgot what it was. It's been a while since I've seen it. But basically, he said, in America, if there was a mass shooting and then the shooter ran into a hospital to hide out, we wouldn't bomb the hospital. That's not justified. You go in and you try to extract him if he's in there, but you don't just blow everybody up. And it's like, I don't understand why that logic cannot apply to what's happening in Gaza, and people cheer it on. And most of the people that are pro-Israel are also pro-Ukraine, and they're claiming on the Ukrainian side that, oh, Russia's killing civilians. And you turn around and the same people are happy that Israel is just bombing children. It's
Yeah.
mind-boggling the double standard that is showed, and I'll never understand it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, Russia, Ukraine. This is my favorite stat, and anybody can look this up. All the viewers, you can look this up and use this stat whenever someone is pro-Ukrainian or even pro-Israel. You ask them this question. You say, "What conflict of the past 1,000 years has the lowest civilian to soldier death ratio?" They're going to look at you and they go, "I don't know." You can say it's Russia, Ukraine is the correct answer. 0.0. It's less than 0.01%
Wow.
civilian to soldier ratio. If there's been, I believe, 15,000 civilians dead in Ukraine and about 2,000 Russians dead on, civilians on their side, that compared to pretty much combined over 1 million soldiers. There's a reason that the cities in Ukraine are standing. There's a reason that the capital of Ukraine is honestly untouched. They fire like 3 drones at it a night. Like, Russia just fires drones at it just to annoy them at this point. Like, I have the notifications. It's like 4 drones are heading towards Kyiv, and it's like, what are they going to even do? Like, these are like drones the size of a car that barely explode. They slam into a high rise. No one's in it at that point, and then it does nothing. Or they just, or like most of the drones do at this point, they just slam in an open field.
Yeah.
And then the Israelis, the other side of that, you say, in the past 1,000 years, which conflict has the highest soldier to civilian death rate? And it's Israel and Gaza. That one is, I want to say that one was 30 to 1. which is insane given that World War II, I believe, was pretty much 1-to-1. And given that Gaza right now is around 30-to-1, and these are the same people that are pro-Israel, pro-Ukraine, they're on the side of life. And then I get into it with a lot of the pro-Palestinian, pro-Ukraine people. I get into it with a lot of them a lot because they'll be like, how are you pro-Palestine and support Russia? What's going on with that? Like you're just an idiot. I'm like, well, I'm on the Palestinian side because I value life. Because Palestine, there's no military. You can say Hamas. Hamas is a militant group that has like 10,000 members. That's nothing. So, and the biggest thing about Israel's killing women and children. 70% of the deaths in Gaza are women and children. 70. That's not a war. That is a genocide. You're attacking the youth so they can't grow up and reproduce or grow up to be the militants. And you're attacking women who are the ones that reproduce. Also, these just aren't combat. These aren't legitimate targets. Number one, they're women and children. That's obvious. I went into a little depth right there. And then the Ukrainian side is simple geopolitical history and logic. There are two militaries fighting. The civilians are safe. It's the lowest ratio in human history. So when two militaries fight and the civilians are safe, you look at it from why did this happen? What is going on? And you look at Israel and Palestine. You say, why did this happen? Well, October 7th. Well, actually, if you go back further and know the history like Russia, Ukraine, you'll realize that it's been going on since the 1940s, and civilians are dying. Russia, Ukraine has been going on for 20 years, really. It's been building up, and civilians aren't dying. It's such a drastic... They're really hard to compare, but I feel like anybody that knows history and the Israel-Palestine thing is like if you just have humanity, it's at that point. That one's just simple. Like if you just don't like seeing dead children, you're just not going to support what Israel's doing because that's what they're doing. Russia,
Once it gets revealed to you,
kind of convince people, but
I mean that's the hard part, man. That's what I've spent a lot of time on my channel doing is trying to, just open people's eyes to understand what is truly happening in Israel. Because at least from my perspective in the South, maybe it's the Bible Belt thing, I don't know, but so many people don't even understand it. They don't even comprehend the amount of women and children and just innocent civilian people that are being killed and bombed. There's one story, man, it breaks my heart, where apparently Israel was putting bombs in little cans of food so that when they opened it, it would detonate it, and putting it out by the orphanages in Palestine so that little kids would open the food hungry and get blown up. And it's like, how can you in any capacity want to support that? And it's like, if you understand that is happening and yet you still support it, like what kind of morals do you have? And many of these people, what's sad to me is they call themselves Christians. And they may be, I'm not one to judge someone's salvation, but it's like, where's your moral compass at in this scenario? It's like, I don't believe in the Jewish people being God's chosen people. I think that's transitioned to the Christians now. But are you really going to take this argument that they're God's chosen people, and so that means they can just do whatever the hell they want? And they can just kill whoever they want in any capacity, any child, any person, blow them up, and they just have
it's because the children are Muslim.
Yeah, it's like, that gives them a right.
It's because they're Muslim. And I'm like, well, if we're looking at this from like a Christian view to where, they're Muslim, I don't care. It's like, well, Jews aren't Christians. They don't believe what we believe in. Our core Christian belief is Jesus Christ. Like, they're not that belief. Jews are a different religion than us. I think Muslims are a different religion than us. But if you look at this from a non-religious way of, there's no Christians fighting. Like, there's a small Christian majority in Palestine, obviously, but you have Muslim Palestinians, they're not us, versus Jewish Israelis, they're not us. The Jewish Israelis are killing the women and children. Okay, like you put religion aside and look at this from a point of humanity. If you just hate Muslims that much, and then it's a whole different. There's no argument there. Then it's like, well, I can't even talk to you. I can't even convince you because your opinion is driven by hatred. You're fine with women and children dying because your hatred for Muslims is justifying watching a little baby get blown up versus an average person. Like, I'm a Christian. I don't want America to be Muslim. I don't want America to be Jewish. I want America to be like me, Christian. I have nothing against anyone else. I have nothing against Muslims. I have nothing against normal Muslims. I have nothing against normal Jews. The extremists on both sides, you get the Israeli Zionists who blow people up. You get the Islamic jihadists who do the same thing. So you get very bad. The difference between the Christians is we're not driven by religion to do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest argument. I have a lot of Muslim followers. I love Muslims. I feel like they're closer to us than Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little bit of flack for that. But I do think so that, I've met a lot of Muslims. I went to Lebanon and I was meeting people who are Muslim that you just wouldn't know. Like, this guy driving a golf cart was a Muslim and he was like the coolest dude ever. It's like, you're awesome, dude. I don't care. But it's to the point of like, I lost my train of thought there. But okay. They're Americans. They like to bring up Iraq, Afghanistan. You did horrible things. I'm like, yeah, we did, but that wasn't driven by our religion.
Mm-hmm.
Christianity wasn't telling us to go kill people. It was just our dumb political ideology at the time.
Yeah.
Christians don't go kill other religions for Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crusades happen 500 years ago. We're here in 2025 talking about this. Everyone's killed other religions 500 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody did. That was obvious. But here in 2025, Jewish people will kill Muslims because they want the land, and they're killing them because they're Muslim. If Gaza was Jewish, it wouldn't kill them. It wouldn't be a thing. It wouldn't matter. They wouldn't care. It wouldn't be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
If Gaza was Jewish, they wouldn't bomb them. That's simple. The Jewish people are okay with killing other religions because they're not them. They drive through the Greater Israel Force, which is a Jewish Talmudic belief. So they believe that they need to accomplish this. So what they're doing is a driven religious belief. Same thing with like ISIS and these jihadist groups, but like I'm saying, they're a very small minority. The Jewish side, just look up stats on how many Jews are Zionists. I'm just gonna
90%.
look up majority minority. Yeah. I didn't say it, but that's a percentage. That's real. So they're a little different. The Muslims, it's like I've seen the stats. I think it's 2% of total Muslims support ISIS, and that's just a poll.
Yeah.
So 2% of Muslims are these crazy radical that chop people's heads off. But I like to point this out too. Syria fought ISIS. Iran fought ISIS. Lebanon, Hezbollah, we designate them as a terrorist organization. Hezbollah fought ISIS. Hamas fought, everybody fought ISIS. That all of our enemies, Iran, Hezbollah, Syria, or Assad, Syria, a year ago, they fought ISIS. They beat ISIS. Russia. These people defeated ISIS. Trump helped. But at the end of the day, we have to understand that not all Muslims are in ISIS. Not all Muslims are going to kill us. Okay? The Israelis are the ones that are going to kill us. The Israelis are the ones that are showing that they don't have a distinguish between Muslims and Christians. Their ideology is that we're the same. Muslims and Christians, we're the same.
Yeah.
They look at us at the same level. And now I'm looking at this, I say, if they're that willing to kill Muslim children, what if there were Christians in Gaza? Which there are. They've killed Christians in Gaza and the West Bank and a lot of Christians in Lebanon. Israel has slaughtered Christians in Lebanon. They bomb it all the time. They've bombed churches in Lebanon in the south. They've bombed the Catholic Church in Gaza. Proving that they don't care if you're Muslim or Christian. They will kill you. They will kill us. So us aligning with something like that my dad, he's a boomer a little bit. He has this thing where sometimes we talk about it and he's like, well, if it came down to it and and you were in a room with an IDF soldier and someone from Hamas, the guy from Hamas would kill you. And I'm like, yeah, he would, but they both would because I'm not them. I'm not part of Hamas. I'm not Muslim. I'm not Jewish. I'm not part of the IDF or Israeli. They're both going to kill me because they've shown they're going to kill me. Like, look, Hamas isn't the best. Out of like these, I'm getting real technical now talking about the groups that some people don't know a lot. But like, out of Hezbollah, out of Iran, out of the Houthis, Hamas is the worst. Like, Hamas would probably kill you. Like, that's kind of like a mutually agreed upon thing. That it's like, Hamas is bad. We understand that. They need to be out of Gaza. But the Israelis are worse because they have killed more. They've done worse. Their ideology is to kill even more people. Hamas is at least in a defensive mode to where they're just fighting for their people when the Israelis are fighting to annex this land that they believe they have religiously. But I don't buy a lot of this. I'm rambling. But I don't buy a lot of the stuff with Iran at all. I don't buy a lot of the stuff with Hezbollah. I don't buy a lot of the stuff with the Houthis. Kind of just like, or do they hate us? Do they really want to kill us? Or do they hate us because we want to kill them type of thing,
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you all the way. it becomes an interesting thing. I mean, the issue I have with a lot of people is when I tell them I'm anti-Israel, somehow they say that means I am pro-Hamas, and I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm not pro-terrorist of any kind. I'm not pro-ISIS. I'm not pro-Hamas. I'm not pro-Israel because at this point, I believe Israel is collectively a terrorist state. It's
Yeah.
I am pro innocent lives in Palestine, or in Lebanon, or wherever, Syria. I stand for the innocent life, and I think that as Christians we have a duty to do that. It's to stand with the innocent people. I'm not one to go get involved in world conflicts. Hence my kind of stance on the Russia Ukraine thing, because for the most part, like you said, this isn't an innocent life scenario. This isn't a genocide. This isn't an ethnic cleansing. But when it comes to Israel and Palestine, we see that. That doesn't mean you're pro-terrorist of any kind. It means you're anti other terrorist. It's like I don't.
Yeah, I know.
There's not even really a good way to
Like, hey,
describe it.
if you have two evils, you don't want to side with the one that's worse, and that's what America's doing. It's like, yeah, well, I don't want to send money to Hamas. I don't want to send money to Hamas. Or actually, the Hamas guys are like, what are they in, like Doha, Qatar? It's like, yeah, let's not send money to Hamas. That also doesn't mean let's send money to Israel. Then it's like, just why do we have to be involved? Well, number one, we
Yeah.
do. We need to get them to stop, but we shouldn't support either side. We should be what we're supposed to be, the beaming, the beacon of hope and liberty and all of this stuff, which says stop killing each other, stop killing women and children. That's it. We're America. The Israeli military can't do anything to us. Hamas can't do anything to us. But of course, where we have this weird fixation with Israel, there's some AIPAC stuff, maybe some Epstein stuff going on, to where it's like, is America supports evil? They do. We support it. America supports evil. Is it because America's evil, or is it because America's bound to evil through something we can't control? And I believe that if you look at anything prior to the creation of Israel, we have been on the right side of history.
Yeah.
World War II, I mean, we can get deep into World War II, but at the end of the day, America was a good guy in World War II. I mean, we get deep into that subject, but America was good in World War II. They were good in World War I. They were good in the Civil War. They were good in the Revolutionary War. They were good in all of these conflicts where we went and saved people. We went and helped people. Or number one, we just didn't do anything. And then it's to the point in the past 40 years, 50, it all revolves around Israel. Everything. We're doing bad things. We're invading the Middle East. We haven't done that ever in our entire history up till like the 70s, 80s, and then Nam happened. I mean, we started becoming interventionist on kind of the wrong side, especially as of late with Iraq, Afghanistan. We've done just Yemen. We're bombing Yemen every once in a while. It's like they're in a civil war of just an endless civil war. What is bombing people there going to accomplish anything? And are we actually evil, or are we just bound to the evil? And I think we're bound to the evil. But
I mean, no, I would agree with you. I mean, and it comes down to also most of the American people, it seems like at this point, are against what we are standing for in a lot of ways. The American people are sick and tired of it, or a lot of them just purely misinformed. And I think that once they become informed, they see, oh wait, this isn't good. They want the common good of the world, and most of them want to just stay out of the conflicts, And it's like kind of like what you were getting at. It's like, man, the bar is set so low. It's like, don't genocide people, don't kill women and children. We'll stay out of your way.
We're not asking for much. Like, we're not asking for that much. It's just like, hey, Israel, stop killing women and children, because that 70% of the deaths are. It's like, hey, stop killing women and children, and let's just talk. And then they throw their hands up and say, well, Hamas this, and it's like, we're not asking for you to like withdraw out of the West Bank yet. We're not even getting to like withdrawing from Syria. We're not even getting to withdrawing from Lebanon. We're just like, all we want. Kind of Trump pushed this. I'll give him some credit. Trump came into office. He kind of delayed it a little bit. I wish he was more upfront with it. And he kind of went to Netanyahu and was like, look, we just need a ceasefire. Let's just stop the killing for just like a week. And just stop it. Because with the Gaza thing, Israel has shown they can't take over Gaza. I don't know how they couldn't. They couldn't. It's been like a 2.5-year war / genocide. And you look at the maps and it's like, how did they just get to Gaza City like last month? It's like, what have they been doing? And it's like, well, is the IDF that weak? Are they that crappy? Or is it like, 2 million Palestinians in Gaza not willing to just give in. And that's what I think. And it's like you have a small IDF force of like 17-year-olds going against some like 2 million Palestinians who have watched their like fathers and mothers get blown up. It's like, we're just asking Israel. It's like, we're not asking for a lot. All we're asking for is like, when you see women and children in a children's hospital, if you don't blow that up, maybe the whole world, maybe you could like play in the World Cup. Maybe you could be at Eurovision. Maybe like you would have a relation with a normal country. Like do you want to establish, if they want to recognize you, like Israel wants the Saudi Arabia to recognize them. They want Lebanon to recognize them. And it's like, well, first, like, stop being terrorists. It's like, don't bomb a children's hospital. It's not that hard. It's like, even like in Iraq, we did some messed up stuff, but like it wasn't that bad. Like we weren't like openly trying to justify, like, at least we tried to hide it, in Iraq. At least the US was like, look, we didn't do that. That was like Blackwater. That was like a military group. Israel's openly like, well, we have to bomb this children's hospital because there could be a tunnel underneath. And it's like, dude, it's just like some elementary grade boomer. It's like putting the brain of an 85-year-old Cold War veteran.
Yeah.
And like some like 6-year-old kindergartner from Tel Aviv together. And it's mind-numbing to even try to comprehend at this point, that argument. I don't even like entertaining debates on that anymore. It's just,
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I tell you what, though, we went for a while, though. We're at an hour and 11 minutes. We said we were going to try to cut it off by an hour, and here we are. We're both talkers. That makes it tough.
Yeah, we're rolling. I think we've hit a lot of subjects. I'm looking down in my chat right now. I do see y'all, by the way. I want everyone to know that because y'all stopped commenting after I didn't acknowledge y'all. But my phone's at 2%, so y'all got to deal with that. But yeah, we're rolling pretty strong. An hour or two in. Everyone on my chat, y'all make sure to go subscribe to Jarrod. I have it right there on my screen, so go subscribe to him. And everyone on Jarrod's, hey, maybe come give me a subscription. Almost at 1,000, so hey, help a brother out.
Yeah, get Ethan to 1,000, guys. I mean, there's several of y'all in here. I mean, Ethan's a great guy. We've had a great conversation. I mean, for the most part, I'd say we agree on just about everything.
We agree on pretty much everything, and Fuentes just went live, so there goes the whole chat.
Yeah, I would say we're lost. It's gone.
I saw the notification. I was like, oh, there it is.
We have no chance. The preloading screen hype videos on. You got to watch it for 2 hours, and then it's time.
I don't watch it. I'm just like, I just wake up in the morning and watch the clips on Twitter. I'm like, I can't sit through this crap anymore.
That's me, man. But yeah, dude, I really do appreciate you coming on. I mean, you're the first guest. I think we put a great episode together. Hopefully, I have you on several more times, and I think there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, you bring a lot of knowledge when it comes to overseas affairs. I know you've been over there several times, and it's certainly interesting. I mean, I think it's something people need to hear and understand, and maybe strengthen some pro-Russian beliefs for some people and understand what's really happening there. I mean, I think most of the people that are watching this stream probably agree with both of us on Israel, but I don't know how many of them agree with us on Russia. So hopefully that'll strengthen their belief system some.
For sure. I mean, it was fun. A good hour. I appreciate everyone tuning in on both sides. I mean, definitely do it again. I mean, we'll definitely have another one. So y'all make sure to tune in for all of that. Make sure to catch us all on our Instagrams, where I think we promote pretty much everything there. I'm on X. Jarrod's on X. I'm on TikTok still. For now, I've got 3. I don't know if that's possible. I didn't want to jinx that, but I appreciate everyone for tuning in. That's a late one. It's 9 p.m. That's late for my followers. So
not too bad. Hey, look, this comment says they're waiting for Gypsy Crusaders. So we need to get a hold of him. We'll do a 3-person stream.
That would be nuts. I don't know what we talk about. It's like,
there's no telling. I wonder if he comes in with the full Joker makeup and everything like he did in
Dude, I got a Batman costume coming in on Monday for Halloween. I'll pull up his Batman and just geek him out for a little bit.
That would be awesome. I'll be Robin. He can be Joker. You be Batman. I think it'll be a good stream on Halloween.
Yeah, we'll just go terrorize some little Jewish children, but that's a joke. Everybody please don't clip that. That's a full joke. But
that's the full Fuentes. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you have to say it now. I'm like, I don't want to get a point 3 years where someone pulls us up and they're like, he's going to terrorize Jewish children. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to run at them with a cross and be ooga booga booga. Like,
yeah, no, it's
people take sad jokes.
This is something Nick talks about all the time. It's like, man, we got to the point where it's just how our generation tends to speak now. It's in these kind of edgy jokes, and it's just a part of the dialogue, a part of the vernacular. And for whatever reason, people want to just like take that and think that we're serious about it. I mean, look at this group chat that just leaked, this Republican group chat,
Yeah.
and it's like they're just making jokes, and it's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe there were some pretty out there jokes, but you look at the whole thing with what's his face, the Democrat that's talking about like legitimately, seriously wanting to kill Republicans and their children. It's like, how is this even remotely like how can you be okay with one and not be okay with the jokes? I don't understand that
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it's tough. I'm like, look, if you leak a group chat of like what 17 to 21-year-old guys, like what do they expect is going to be said in there? Like, I mean, stuff happens. Like that's just like welcome to the real world. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
everyone has like a old video game chat that if that came out, like it's just over. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
it's like welcome to the real world. Like liberals act like they've never said stuff, and it's like, yeah, you've said stuff before. I know it. Like, I mean, y'all just like killed Charlie Kirk. Like, at least we just say it. Like, we're not killing people. Like,
Yeah.
they're killing people. Like, they're literally killing people. They shot Trump twice. They
Mhm.
shot him. They tried to shoot him twice. Shot him once. Killed Charlie Kirk. I mean, Fuentes got shot at multiple times. Dude
Mhm.
showed up with a crossbow at his house. And it's just like, dude. I mean,
And we're the
we're
bad
just
guys.
making the jokes. I'm like, we're not
Mhm.
doing it. We're making jokes. Like,
Mhm.
we make a joke about Jewish people. It's like, oh, so you want to kill all Jews? And I'm like, look, can we just make a joke? It's like,
Yeah,
can we just
exactly.
joke around and have fun?
Exactly, man. But Ethan, man, I'm gonna get in here. It's time for me to go to bed. I think you're the same way. We both wake up early, so. But
I know.
I really do
That's what we
appreciate
said
you coming
earlier.
on. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, we're definitely gonna have you back on, man. But thank you and everyone watching on both sides, on Ethan's show and on mine. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. I mean, neither one of us can do this without y'all. I mean, being here and wanting to watch and wanting to support us, and we really appreciate that. I mean, it really does mean a lot to me to see people wanting to come in, wanting to comment, wanting to watch, and who appreciate what we say and what we talk about, what we spread news about. So thank y'all. And yeah, I mean, I hope